Have you ever watched a train wreck happen in slow motion, completely unable to look away? That is exactly what we are witnessing right now in Fairmont Crest. The Impaler is no longer a faceless boogeyman hiding in the shadows of the Red Market. Heather Armstrong has officially returned to town, and she has made one thing abundantly clear. She is not leaving just because her brother Joey wants her to. The sheer audacity of this woman is staggering. She has walked right into the lion's den, completely unbothered by the massive target on her back. Heather is a woman who thrives on control, and right now, she is meticulously pulling the strings of everyone around her, setting the stage for a catastrophic showdown that is going to leave this town in absolute ruins. Let's break down her primary objective because it is as chilling as it is reckless. Heather is dead set on eliminating Bradley Smitty Smith. Why? Because Smitty is doing what investigative journalists do best. He is digging way too deep. His relentless articles challenging the plasma ring and exposing the dark underbelly of the Red Market, including the involvement of Dr. Leah Whitmore and the disappearance of Lynette Wise, are causing far too much noise. For a criminal mastermind like Heather, noise is incredibly bad for business. But it's more than just business. It is highly personal. Smitty's articles are a direct public challenge to her authority. Heather's massive ego simply cannot handle the fact that a local journalist is threatening to dismantle the international criminal empire she has built. She wants him silenced permanently, and she is not taking no for an answer. Enter Joey Armstrong, the unexpected voice of criminal reason. Joey is absolutely panicking, and for once, we actually have to agree with the casino boss. Joey understands the delicate, interconnected ecosystem of Fairmont Crest in a way that his sister clearly does not. He desperately tries to warn Heather that putting a hit on Smitty is a massive mistake. Smitty isn't just some random reporter typing away in a basement. His presence in this town is monumental. Think about the political and social ramifications. Smitty is married to Martin Richardson, a man who literally just won his congressional primary election. If the husband of a newly minted political powerhouse is murdered, it won't just be local police looking into it. The FBI, the national media, and every investigative agency in the country will descend upon Fairmont Crest like a swarm of angry locusts. Joey knows that this kind of intense heat will completely obliterate his casino operations and her plasma ring. He explicitly warns her that if Smitty dies, there is absolutely no guarantee that either of them will remain safe from the fallout. But does Heather listen? Of course not. Heather is operating on a terrifying level of hubris. She genuinely believes she is untouchable. She scoffs at Joey's desperate warnings, proving that her extreme arrogance might just be her fatal flaw. The dynamic between these two siblings is fascinating to analyze. Joey is the pragmatic survivor who knows how to play the long game, while Heather is the ruthless conqueror who is willing to burn the entire town to the ground just to swat a fly that is bothering. But here's where the storyline pivots from a standard crime thriller into a psychological masterpiece. Heather needs a cover, a way to blend into the high society fabric of Fairmont Crest without raising suspicion while she plots her next move. Enter Vanessa McBride. Vanessa, bless her heart, is trying so hard to be the supportive partner to Joey. She now knows that Heather is Joey's sister, but she remains blissfully, tragically unaware that this blonde woman standing in her living room is the notorious Impaler. Vanessa, eager to play the welcoming host and integrate Joey's family into her life, makes the most dangerous miscalculation of the entire season. Because Heather claims she doesn't know anyone in town, Vanessa generously offers to introduce her to her inner circle of friends. Just let that sink in for a moment. The leader of a lethal international crime syndicate is about to be formally introduced to the elite women of Fairmont Crest at brunch. It is a brilliant, terrifying narrative choice by the writers. Heather doesn't have to sneak into homes or hack into computers to gather intelligence. She's being hand-delivered to the epicenter of town gossip and power by one of its most prominent residents. Vanessa is literally handing the keys to the castle to the devil herself, completely oblivious to the impending doom. And who does Vanessa introduce her to? Dany Dupri. This is the exact moment you want to scream at your television screen in sheer frustration. Dany is currently spiraling in her own chaotic world. She is consumed by the suffocating guilt of her secret elevator hookup with Bill Hamilton. She is desperately trying to manage her marriage to Andre Richardson, and she is emotionally reeling from her daughter Naomi's BRCA diagnosis. Dany is distracted, vulnerable, and absolutely desperate for a normal, friendly distraction. She's the perfect, unsuspecting target for a calculating predator like Heather. Heather intentionally zeroes in on Dany, knowing exactly who she is and who she is connected to. The psychological manipulation here is absolutely top tier. Heather plays the role of the charming, supportive new friend flawlessly, slipping right past Dany's usually sharp defenses. Dany, completely oblivious to the fact that she is befriending the very monster that has been terrorizing their community, opens her home and her life to Heather. It is a masterclass in deception, and you can't help but feel a heavy knot of dread in your stomach watching Dany smile and laugh with a woman who would not hesitate to destroy her entire family. The true horror of this fake friendship becomes apparent when Dany starts talking. Dany's a talker. She processes her anxiety by sharing information. Without even realizing the gravity of what she is doing, Dany begins to casually drop details about Smitty, and more importantly, about her son-in-law, Jacob Hawthorne. Heather sits there, sipping her coffee, absorbing every single piece of intelligence like a sponge. Dany is unknowingly providing the Impaler with a real-time roadmap to the exact people who are actively trying to bring her down. The dramatic irony is so thick you could cut it with a knife. Let's talk about the Jacob Hawthorne connection, because this is where the stakes become a matter of life and death. Jacob is a police officer who is dangerously obsessed with catching the Impaler. He is suffering from severe PTSD and survivor's guilt because his best friend Derek Baldwin took a bullet meant for him during the plasma ring sting. Jacob has sworn to avenge Derek's death, pushing his marriage with Naomi to the brink as he dives deeper into his undercover thug persona. And yet, the very woman he is hunting, the ruthless architect of his best friend's murder, is currently sitting in his mother-in-law's living room, exchanging recipes and pleasantries. It is a sickeningly twisted reality. By infiltrating the Dupri household, Heather has effectively turned Dany into a human shield. It is a chillingly brilliant strategy. If Jacob or the police get too close to uncovering the truth, Heather is already deeply embedded in their personal lives. Any move against Heather now carries the extreme risk of massive collateral damage to the Dupri family. Dany's innocence has been weaponized against her own blood. She is unwittingly protecting a criminal empire, creating a breathless, suffocating standoff between the pursuit of justice and a fake, toxic friendship. How will Jacob react when he realizes the monster he is hunting has been invited to family dinners? However, let's look at this from an analytical standpoint. While Heather's infiltration is a stroke of evil genius, it is also a massive double-edged sword. By choosing to step out of the shadows and reveal her face to the residents of Fairmont Crest, Heather has surrendered her greatest advantage, her absolute anonymity. For months, the Impaler operated with impunity because no one knew who she was or what she looked like. Now, she is walking around in broad daylight, attending social gatherings and making. She has crafted a perfect facade, but maintaining a lie 24 hours a day, 7 days a week is exhausting, even for a seasoned criminal mastermind. Every time Heather steps into the Dupri mansion, she is taking a monumental risk. She is constantly surrounded by intelligent, highly observant people. What happens if she slips up and mentions a detail about Derek's death that only the killer would know? What happens if Jacob walks into the room and his sharp police instincts trigger a massive red flag? What happens if Smitty, the investigative journalist she desperately wants to kill, starts digging into Joey's sister's past in London? Heather is playing a very dangerous game of Russian roulette, and the chamber is fully loaded. Heather's extreme arrogance blinds her to the fact that the women of Fairmont Crest are not to be underestimated. Dany might be distracted right now, but she is still a Dupri, and Dupris are survivors. Vanessa might be blinded by her love for Joey, but she is fiercely protective of her family. If either of these women catches on to the fact that they are being played and manipulated, the backlash will be absolutely biblical. Heather thinks she is the apex predator playing with her food, but she might just find out that she has walked directly into a trap of her own making. The tension is absolutely palpable, and every interaction feels like a ticking time bomb waiting to detonate. Ultimately, this storyline is a spectacular collision course of epic proportions. We have Smitty's relentless pursuit of the truth, Jacob's desperate need for vengeance, Joey's frantic attempts at damage control, and Heather's terrifyingly calm manipulation of Dany Dupri. Someone is going to drop the mask, and when they do, the explosive fallout is going to shatter the foundation of Fairmont Crest forever. Will Dany realize the horrifying truth before it's too late, or will her naive trust be the ultimate downfall of her entire family? Keep your eyes peeled, because this is soap opera storytelling at its absolute finest, and we are here for every single second of it.